I applied to probably around 18 schools, and I was rejected from maybe around 15 of those.
In fact, we have a map showing all the places that rejected you, not to make you feel worse looking at this list, but I can see the usual ones people applied to: Berkeley, Stanford, MIT, Georgia Tech, Cornell, all great places in terms of the academics. And CMU is actually Carnegie Mellon, which is in Pittsburgh. Sorry, we'll put that in the wrong spot. We just wanted to bring them to California. But really also look at some of these: Cal Poly and Santa Barbara and San Diego and Washington. Okay, so I'm not trying to make you feel bad here. I'm just wondering how you felt as each of these letters came in saying, no, thank you, Stanley.
Oh yeah, well, some of them were certainly expected, Stanford, MIT, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, but some of them, like Cal Poly, some of the state schools, I really thought, I had a good chance. And it turns out, however good of a chance I had, I didn't get in.
Okay, well, let's just share your statistics, because I know that factors into college admissions, right? Your GPA and SAT score?
GPA was 4.42 weighted. SAT score was 1590.
Okay, and in fact, I think we have that on a graphic just so folks can see that. But in addition to statistics, because we know that's not everything, right, when you're talking about applying to the elite schools, what are some of these coding competitions that you did well in?
Yeah, so Google Code Jam is Google's annual coding contest. It's for all ages, developers all across the world, and the semifinals require you to pass through 2 other separate rounds of increasing difficulty in order to reach the semifinals.
Okay, and then MIT's Battle Code, I've heard of that. I know you're creating stuff in a short amount of time, and your team came in second, so that's all great. But in addition to that, you created an app, right?
Yep.
Something, I don't know if it's similar to DocuSign, but it's a signing app. In fact, you're wearing the t-shirt. What is that? What did you code? What is this?
Yes, RabbitSign is an unlimited free e-signing platform. And yeah, you're right, it's very similar to DocuSign, the main difference being that it's free. And I really started RabbitSign because of the pandemic, where, with social distancing happening, e-signing was really becoming essential in order to conduct business, right? Because you can't sign pen and paper contracts anymore.
I initially wasn't even going to do a video on this. I actually had started to record it and then I just stopped. But then I went back to it because I thought to myself, I see where I can go with this. And the reason why I wasn't going to is because I feel like I talked about this before, maybe a while ago, because the story sounds very familiar to me. And also this video that you're listening to actually came out back in March. I never saw it back when it came out in March, but it resurfaced probably since the time of me recording this within the last week. So it's like one of those things that just resurfaced and it made itself back out there because someone's trying to spin a narrative, and I already know what narrative they're trying to spin. So you have this person right here his name is Stanley Zhong. And as you can see right here, it says Google hires grad rejected by 16 schools. They showed a map of the schools in which he was rejected by and schools he was trying to apply to. Mind you, he did eventually get accepted into a school. He actually went to a school, but they're making a big deal out of it because, with him being Asian, he has all these accolades as far as his GPA and all this, that, and the third. And they're trying to make the argument of, oh, he's being discriminated against because he's Asian and he's not being able to get into these schools. And it's like, how many more times are we going to beat a dead horse? Y'all were the ones, and when I say y'all, I'm talking about the AAPI were the ones that fought tooth and nail over almost 2 years ago. And it's literally about to come up on the anniversary at the end of the month about you wanting to get rid of affirmative action because you felt like people weren't getting in based on merit, even though we pulled up all the graphs of all the people that were getting in by these numbers, and the 2 top spots that always got in was whites and Asians. Those were always the top 2. It was some instances where Asians were number 3, but that was maybe like 2 out of how many major elite schools or Ivy League schools or PWIs. But for the most part, it was always in the top 2 spots of enrollment percentage wise. It was always usually whites and Asians, and it was that you kept seeing that pattern over and over and over again as time continued to move forward. It kept going on, and black people usually were at the bottom of the list every single time. I think I read somewhere where they said that black people make up only about 7% total of Ivy League schools, no matter what school it is. So when they did the whole thing of getting rid of affirmative action because they felt like that was going to be a slight against us. Me and KG had a good time in a live collaboration going over and laughing and clowning them because like literally about less than a week later, they were on there complaining about, oh, it's not working out. And they wish they had got it back. It's like, oh, no. Affirmative action was their safety net. If they would have kept affirmative action, people like Stanley would not probably have this issue of getting all these rejections. But I wanted to go over some other things as well, because some people were wondering, like, how can a person who has these kind of numbers end up getting rejected by all of these schools? So of course, you know what I did. I went to Google. I just typed in, how can someone who has this high GPA or these high GPAs just still get rejected by these Ivy League schools? I didn't type it exactly like that, but something similar. And they said high GPA students can be rejected from college due to several factors beyond just academics. Now, I want you to put a pin in that part. While excellent grades are a significant factor, colleges also consider a student's overall application, including essays, extracurricular activities, and letters of recommendation, competition for spots, the need for diverse student bodies, and even perceived poor fit for the university's culture can also contribute to rejections. Now, the reason why I told you to hold on to that part about the several factors beyond academics, if you look at what he excelled in when they was showing like his GPA and what he's done, everything that he did there, that's nice and all, that's great for him, but it doesn't show him as a well-rounded individual. Like, he's not involved in any sporting activities. It doesn't look like he's a part of any clubs. It doesn't look like he has any community service, anything that involves more a group thing rather than an individualistic thing. And that's what came off from him based on the stats that they were running down in the news clip. Everything was about him. He did this, he did that. While it could have helped other people, but it was self-serving in the fact that he would benefit the most from whatever the reaction was. He wasn't doing anything as a group or as a team. And that's also what they look at. And that's most likely why he got rejected. But then again, if the affirmative action, the same thing they got rid of, was in place, who knows? It might have worked in his favor. But now that they've gotten rid of it, now they've removed their safety net. It even gets to the point where, you know, you had other Asians saying, y'all messed it up for us. Now we are knocked many pegs back. So I think that at the end of the day, to me, is what played a huge factor into why he got rejected by so many of these schools. And it also goes on to say it says extracurricular activities. Like I just said, it to me, based on what they ran down in his stats, because if he did do extracurricular stuff, I'm sure that would have been listed there, but it's not. So it just seems like everything he does is for the benefit of him and not the benefit of other people, as far as people involved with whatever they're doing. Then it breaks it down even further of other reasons why people might not get into these schools. The first one is limited spots. It says the universities have a finite number of spots and many applications are highly competitive. It says competition. Top schools receive numerous applications from highly qualified students, making the selection process highly competitive. Essays and recommendation weaknesses. A poorly written essay or lackluster letters of recommendation can detract from otherwise strong application. Lack of extracurriculars, which I believe that's where he falls into. It says some schools prioritize students who demonstrate a strong commitment to extracurricular activities and show a passion beyond academics. Poor fit. Colleges may reject a student if they don't believe the student is a good fit for their academic or cultural environment. Financial need and scholarship availability. Colleges may prioritize students based on financial need and scholarship availability. Academic integrity concerns. Any doubts about a student's academic integrity, such as cheating or plagiarism, can lead to rejection. And the last one is diversity and balanced student body. Colleges strive to create a diverse student body and may make decisions based on factors like geographic location, socioeconomic background, and other characteristics. Out of all of those, he could fit into a numerous amount of those, but for me, I truly believe the lack of extracurriculars is the one that really got him. Just based on, again, the rundown of his achievements or his accolades, where all of them just seem like they're just about him. So that to me is why I believe he got rejected. But then again, I don't know the real reason why he got rejected, because I'm not the one who's running the ship over there or at these schools and saying, oh, I'm not accepting you and this, that, and the third. And what's crazy is he didn't even get not just rejected by these Ivy League schools. He got rejected by some of these state schools as well, like states, like, you know, schools inside of his state where they are not considered to be Ivy League schools. So, because all 16 of those schools aren't Ivy League, they're good schools, but he got rejected by those as well. But like I said, y'all got rid, the AAPI got rid of affirmative action, which was their safety net, and thought they was trying to pull one over on us. And we kept saying we don't benefit from affirmative action like that, but they didn't listen to us because they listened to PC, which, by the way, they're unaffected with legacy admissions. They're still doing legacy admissions as we speak. And I remember the AAPI was trying to overturn that, and they instantly put a steel fortress up and said, oh, you're not touching the legacy admissions. We only wanted you to get the the affirmative action out of here under the guise of thinking you was going at black people, but really we was trying to get you out the paint. So they ended up playing you at the end of the day. Congratulations, you played yourself. One last thing I wanted to point out before I round off this video is the obvious thing in the headline. Some of you may or may not caught it, but maybe you did catch it when the video was playing. Look what it says right there in the headline. Google hires grad rejected by 16 schools. So even with all the rejections that he received, and I believe he ended up getting finally accepted by a school, which was another top school. It wasn't probably the ideal school he wanted to go to, but he got accepted by it. He still ended up getting a job working for Google. So I'm trying to figure out, why did he make this a big deal if you ended up getting hired by Google, especially considering the video that I recently did about the bias and discrimination suit that Google was entangled in with, especially when it came to their hiring practices or how they were treating their black employees. Because I don't remember Asians being mixed up in that lawsuit. So I'm trying to figure out why he's making a big deal about it. You still ended up getting what looks to be a considerably good paying job, you know, working for one of the biggest tech companies in the world. So I don't know why he decided to make a big deal about this. And furthermore, and I actually had to find this out through KG, he's a Nepo baby. And by that, I mean the person who got him the job allegedly working at Google is his own father. Go figure. Now, if y'all remember looking at the clip, the guy that was sitting next to him, I believe, was his dad. So he didn't really have to work hard to get that job. Granted, he may have wanted to do something on his own, but at least he had a fallback just in case it didn't work out. His dad was right there and was able to pull some strings to get his son a job, where some people have to go through a strenuous hiring process and hope they get a call in for a first or a second interview. So yeah, this was, in my opinion, a waste of time. You got what you got a job out of it. It may not have been what you wanted, but hey, you got something. So yeah, to the AAPI community, y'all were the ones that fought tooth and nail to get rid of something that was benefiting you. You had a well-oiled working machine that was benefiting you, and you got rid of it because you were under the guise that black people were benefiting the most from affirmative action, and that somehow you needed to get in on merit, even though affirmative action was helping y'all out way more than it could ever possibly help us, even though affirmative action was supposed to be for us, and you benefited the most. And because you let PC fill your head with a bunch of nonsense about what it is or what it is not, more so what it isn't, y'all decided to go and take that and run with it, and now it's backfiring on you, and y'all are missing affirmative action on these colleges right now. hey, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're just gonna have to, what is it they say? Work a little bit harder. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.